Okay, so we are offering in your state the $500 sign-on bonus as well. Just
Hello and welcome back to my channel, Mental Health with Melissa. If you're new here, I'm Melissa. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more content. I post new videos every single Sunday and Wednesday, and subscribing to my channel really helps me get mental health information out there to our communities of color and tons of free LCSW test prep for those of you that are interested in becoming LCSWs. Now, I was looking at my analytics and it said a majority of the viewers on my channel are not subscribed. So please, if you watch my videos, please hit that subscribe button because it really helps get my content out there again to our communities of color and to those that are really trying to enter the mental health professions and really enter the social service field. So if you clicked on this video, then you were interested in learning how to get that job, how to get that therapist position job if you don't have that much experience or if you do have a lot of experience. So I am going to be referencing my notes on my phone. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at, because I really want to make sure that I give you some accurate information and some personal experience information. Now, when I entered the mental health social services field about 12 or so years ago, I didn't have much experience, especially when I started school and when I went into internship. And so getting a job as a therapist or a counselor was a little bit more challenging, to be completely honest with you and be transparent, because when you're going out into the workforce and you're competing against other interviewees, you are going up against other people that may have a lot of experience and that have been seasoned in the field. And so I want to share with you 3 things that you're going to need to know to make yourself look that much more marketable and to bring up in your interview experience. So you're not going to want to miss this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the video. The first thing that you're going to want to do is draw from any experience that you have. So if you are an intern or you haven't had a chance to intern yet, then take experience from volunteer work or even in a job that may not necessarily be under the mental health profession, and make sure that you take key elements from that profession that coincide with mental health and human services. For example, I'm going to start with a job that has nothing to do with mental health first, so that you can kind of identify how to pick up key sorts of duties from those sorts of experiences and then apply them to an actual therapy position. So say you worked in customer service, in sales, for example, at the mall, and you are now in school and you're interviewing for an internship for a therapy position, but you don't really have any therapy experience. If you were in customer service in sales at the mall, you're going to want to let the interviewer know that you have experience dealing in customer service, that your customer service skills have really given you the ability to understand the psychology behind marketing and the psychology behind the buyer. And because of this, this has made you more interested in developing those therapeutic skills. So although you may not have the therapy skills, this is something that you can definitely add to that particular site. So that's an example of if you don't have any experience with mental health or as a therapist. Now, if you have experience, say in an internship, but you don't have actual after school experience as a therapist, then you're really going to want to draw on those main principles of therapy and mental health services while you were actually an intern. So for example, say you did your internship at a mental health clinic and you are interviewing for an associate clinical social worker or associate marriage and family therapist position. and you don't actually have your license, you're going to want to really talk about your internship experience and the therapeutic services that you did provide. Now, another thing, so this is going to lead into my second tip. So the first tip again is to really draw from any experience that you have, even if it's not direct counseling. And that can be done by identifying some of those skills in non-mental health professions that you had before, but also in internship and mental health related professions. The second thing that you're going to want to do is to really make sure that you do research on a particular intervention or interventions that you have been able to really connect to, or that maybe you have utilized in your practice at an internship site. So for example, CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy. Say you're not completely skilled in CBT, but you read about it while you were in school, or you read a really interesting article about it, or you did receive some sort of short-term training on it. You're going to want to make sure that you understand that intervention, maybe read another scholarly article or two on it, and really add it to your repertoire when you are in an interview for a counseling position. For example, if a interviewer is asking you what your familiarity is with interventions or screening tools, something that you can say is, I received some information and training in cognitive behavioral therapy, and I really like the principles of it in that our cognitions ultimately shape our feelings and our behaviors. So I like to approach my intervention and care in the therapy process by utilizing a cognitive behavioral approach with clients, because it also allows me to see homework assignments from them and allows me to track progress. So that's going to be an example of utilizing an intervention and making sure you really understand the principles of the intervention so that you can use it again in your interview. The third thing that you're going to want to do is to talk about clinical skills. So this actually may go hand in hand with the first step and the second step, or the first tip and the second tip that I talked about. But every mental health provider has clinical skills and their own unique clinical flair. So you're going to want to find and identify what those particular clinical skills are for you personally. And I can't tell you that, because that is your personal flair. So an example may be that you're really able to draw on a client's strengths and you really love the strengths-based perspective. So bringing that into an interview or writing that in a cover letter may sound something like, I, as a social worker or a mental health provider, adhere to the strengths-based perspective and draw on those principles by really working with the client and identifying their particular strengths and reflecting on them in the therapeutic process, which helps build the rapport. So having an understanding of what your clinical skills are is really going to help you when a potential employer is asking you what your skills are in general, because employers have the tendency to ask you what your skills and your strengths are. And not only are you discussing what your skills are, but you're also making it known that you have the self-awareness and insight to know where you are really strong clinically, and that maybe that will help you also kind of think about where your challenges are with your clinical therapeutic skills, and then maybe that can kind of be brought into the interview process as well. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. I really hope that you get that counseling or therapy position that you want. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, managing mental health matters.